Yeah, I just want to wish Southern Miss the best this season. I got a lot of respect for Jay. We're friends. We got the Ole Miss job. It's one of the first things we thought about doing. I think it's the right thing to do for basketball in the state of Mississippi. A lot of respect for Jay. I thought last year they had an incredible season. I've coached at that level, but they were definitely a second weekend NCAA tournament type team. So hard at that level, you got to punch that automatic ticket. I think this year they're right back. They've had some adversity early on, but I think when they get everybody back on the court, they're going to be a real force in their conference. Older team, experienced team. We played well today. The first half is one of our better 20-minute segments at Ole Miss, and I think the main reason is we had so much respect for Southern Miss. We knew they were going to compete, and they're a team that they had the guys' full attention. I'll put it that way. And I think in the second half, you show the character of Southern Miss basketball. To chip back and basically, in a lot of ways, outplay us in the second 20 minutes. It didn't surprise me because Jay's teams always play for 40 minutes. It's also really important to us for come down to the coast. Me personally, Biloxi is a place that is important to me. My dad was stationed here when he was in the Air Force. My mom lived down here with my dad, and we used to come here on family vacation. On the way to Florida, we'd stop here for a couple of days, eat raw oysters on the beach, and so I want to thank Matt McDonald and everybody here at the Coliseum. This was a first-class event from the time we set it up this summer, all the way to the marketing, the ticketing. I thought it was a really good fan-friendly game for both schools, Southern Miss and Ole Miss. So this is a place I'd absolutely be interested in coming back, but I can't thank Matt and his staff enough. A lot of work went into pulling this game off. We were really impressed with the whole game. The game operations and everything was good. Any questions?
Chris, piggybacking off of what you just said, what does it mean for you and the culture you're trying to build at Ole Miss to play these kinds of games on the opposite side of the state against an in-state opponent in front of a pretty good Ole Miss contingency?
Yeah, several objectives each year in our non-conference schedule. We want to play really good teams. We want to play teams that prepare us for SEC play. Teams similar that we might see in the NCAA tournament and postseason, and that's exactly how we felt about Southern Miss. I think just within hours of getting the job, I think Jay and I exchanged some text, and it was pretty early on. We thought this game would make a lot of sense for both programs. So today, above all, we played a really good team, a team that we think will compete for their conference championship, a team that we think will be a factor in the month of March. Secondly, absolutely, I think there's responsibility just for basketball in the state of Mississippi. So many great high school programs, junior college programs, and some great four-year universities. So I just think it's the right thing to do for us to play each other and promote basketball in the state. Thirdly, in terms of Ole Miss, we have a lot of alumni and fans that live down here on the coast. We were pleased that we could bring our team out here and play a meaningful game in December. Really appreciate the attendance today. Thought we had a lot of Ole Miss fans, and I can't thank you enough. A couple of days before Christmas, for people to choose to use their time and resources to come to our game, it meant a lot for us. We hope to continue this tradition, playing games in the state of Mississippi. So I thought it was a great afternoon of basketball for a lot of reasons, not just the game.
Coach, when you look at the season so far, still one more non-conference game. How do you evaluate things at 12-0 now? What things you feel like this team has changed from maybe last year?
Well, I wasn't here last year, so I can't talk about that. But I can tell you from the first day we were together this spring, and the first day our full team was together in summer workouts in the fall. We're just continuing to grow. We're definitely a work in progress. I think over these first 12 games, we've shown and proven that we can play good basketball, whether it be on the road, 2 true road wins, whether it be neutral site games, whether it be top 25 teams from the ACC, Pac-12. We put our guys through a lot in these first 12 games. I think we've shown a lot of signs of improvement. Definitely a lot of growth yet to be accomplished if we're going to have the kind of season that we'd like to have in conference play. But I think after 12 games, I'm really proud of our players. A lot of sacrifice has gone into our program. We've had good practices. They're probably more important than even the games at this point. So I think we're off to a good start.
Third consecutive game with more than 10 threes. Is that something that you guys are really trying to focus on, especially when conference play upcoming?
Yeah, absolutely. We have different weapons offensively. We have different ways we can play. We got good shooters on this year's team, guys that earn the right to make shots in games by what they do on a day-to-day basis, whether it be team practice or evening shooting or morning individual workouts. I do have a lot of confidence in our three-point shooters on this year's team.
12-0 now. I know he mentioned it, but it's the first time since 07-08 this program has gone through a little bit of a run. So now being here and having some eyes on you guys are now in the top 25, does the message change at all?
No. Never been concerned about top 25 or rankings and all that. We want to be one of those teams that can win 6 games in 3 weekends to end the season. And it's really easy to sit up here and talk about. It's really, really difficult to do. But that's where our objective starts. And so we don't spend much time talking about anything other than just improving each day and trying to be one of those teams. I think selection shows Sundays 88 days from today, and we just want to be one of those teams that has a chance to get in the tournament.
Juju Murray got into foul trouble at the end of both halves, and Austin Nunez played more meaningful minutes than he pretty much has all season. How do you kind of evaluate his performance, and how important is it to get him in these games as conference play looms?
Yeah, Austin's earned the right to play in games. He's getting an increased opportunity. He's earned that through practice. As a matter of fact, what's the day? Saturday? Today Saturday?
Yeah.
I think Austin had his best practice at Ole Miss on Thursday. So he earned the right to have an opportunity. He's making the most of it. Austin's a talented young player. Got some valuable experience last year playing at Arizona State for a great coach. We definitely have a role for Austin. His role can continue to improve and get bigger, based on how he plays every day. But I thought Austin did a great job today. He was ready to play.
Jalen was 5-6 from beyond the arc, created his own shot numerous times today. What have you seen from him through the first 12 games that has stuck out?
Yeah, I think with Juju, coming from mid-major and being in the portal and not being one of those guys that was ranked in all this, we saw something in Juju in recruiting. And equally important, he saw something in our program. And so I think, if anything, the expectations are what they are. We think that Juju can play with any guard in the country. He's continuing to tell his own story and can do a lot of good things on the court. I think consistency is what he's striving for, no different than any other player. And I think defensively he can do a lot of things on the court. And so I'm proud of Juju. First 12 games, he's done really well.
Another big game for Matthew, too, 26 points today, and he did very well on the defensive side. How has he kind of just come along this season into becoming one of the better players on this team?
Yeah, that's what we expect of Matt. I'm on the record. I think there's not much more Matt can do individually in college basketball, but it's time for Matt to impact winning. It's time for Matt to be on a team that competes for championships and to play in the postseason and play in March, and that's exactly what he's done. And, for Matt, it's not about the 25-point game. That's a given. He's been there before, and he'll be there again. I think with Matt, it's about him impacting the organization every day with leadership and poise and maturity. He did a great job this week. This game, I'm sure Jay told you the same thing, always comes with a lot of distractions. Christmas is right around the corner, and you worry about where the guys are mentally. But I think our veterans did a great job this week in practice, including Matt, making sure the team is ready to play today.
As far as the experience in Biloxi, did you share any stories with the team about your times here and what memories you kind of had while you lived here?
We did share some stories with our guys about the history of this Coliseum, the history of basketball on the coast. Personally, I think I might have mentioned to a couple of guys in just more one-on-one conversations that my dad and mom used to live here in Biloxi. We had some great seafood here. It's a really cool town. Mississippi's a great state for so many reasons. I really like it down here in the Biloxi area. People were great. And again, I can't tell you how impressed I was with this game being put together. These things aren't easy. Hasn't been a basketball game here in a long time. And from the marketing to the game ops to everything in this game, I was super impressed.
Coach, a few weeks ago against UCF, at the end you said something along the lines of you guys have a chip on your shoulder. Maybe you don't have the respect you deserve 2 games after that. How do you feel like that maybe it changed?
Yeah, I think this team definitely has some fuel. It starts with individual players, then it goes to our team, and I think in a lot of ways even our fan base. I believe we have some of the best fans in all of college athletics. I know we have some of the best facilities in all college athletics. We have one of the best universities in the country, not just the state. And so, what I tell the guys is, everybody's story is not told day one, but if you stay after it and continue to control what you can control, you can demand that people tell your story. So I would think being one of the only 2 or 3 left undefeated teams in the country, I think our schedule hasn't gotten the respect either. We played 2 true road games. We played Memphis and NC State and Oxford. We've traveled outside of Oxford. We've played teams that were in the postseason last year. So, yeah, I'm proud of what we're building, and most of all, I'm proud of our players. And we'll just keep chipping away, and eventually somebody's going to have to tell our story.
One more question? Any more questions?
Coach, we talked about Morrell having a big game today. Tuesday night with Brakefield and Juju Murray's taking over games. What does it say about the culture you're building with the team that any given day, it could be anybody on the team that steps up and just takes over?
That's always been our objective, to win. You know, basketball is a team sport. You know, I'm not a golfer, not a tennis guy, but I respect those individual sports where you kind of control your own fate. I've actually studied a lot of great individual sport athletes to kind of check the mental side and all that, but our deal is a team sport. And so we've never had an objective to have just one guy that scores or one guy that rebounds or one guy that does this or that. So we're a team based on numbers and depth, and guys doing their job day in, day out, not just on game night, but in practice. So today's a great example. You know, when we can get 4 or 5 guys in double-figure scoring, you know, I think we're one of the better teams in the country. And so it's all about team around here, and it always will be.
Thanks, y'all.
Merry Christmas.